It's 4 a.m. You looking out the peephole of your front door, and there's somebody staring back at you. It's time for a Sherm story. What's with it? So the story I'm talking about tonight, it took place a long fucking time ago. So I don't know if y'all remember, I talked about it a while back, about my boy Stench and how I met Chris, and how Stench like to... And it's strange this even fucking happened to us, cause like, me and that motherfucker, we like never went to school hardly ever that year. The only reason we went is when Stench was serving shit. Stench's cousin had the jug on that old school crank, that fucking prope dope, the old pink shit. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but this is before like crystal blood, like a long fucking time ago. I don't know if you ever fucked with that critty before, blood, but I ain't gonna lie to you, blood. I used to like that fucking shit sometimes. That was like the first fucking amphetamine I ever really fuck with. I swear to God, that's why I ain't got no fucking hair. Now it's from that shit, blood. I used to just sit there and just comb that shit out on that, blood. Just sit there and comb my fucking hair all fucking day. I don't even know why, blood. I just did. But some of these kids in that fucking class was bad, blood. I'm talking fucking bad. Like me and Stench was angels compared to these motherfuckers. And I guess this dude just had enough. So they brought this fucking sub in, and they had the principal in there too the first day with him and shit, just make sure he could hold it down. And you could tell dude was uncomfortable as fuck being there, but he was trying to hold it down. Him and that principal just act like fucking assholes, blood, just trying to keep that class in check and shit. And for the most part, they were succeeding, blood, that first fucking day. For the second day, that sub came back, and there wasn't no principal. And that's when that shit started going bad, cause like, motherfucker was trying to like keep us all in check again, trying to be Mr. Asshole and shit like that. And I remember how it all fucking started. I should also throw it in there because this ain't a normal school, blood. We in the same class all fucking day with this motherfucker. And he keep accusing me of talking when I ain't, blood. I mean, like I said, I was originally talking and I was actually being cool. That motherfucker told me to stop talking. I stopped talking. It was these other motherfuckers. He kept saying it was me. And me and him started getting into it. Cause this fool starts saying he gonna fucking give me like detention or some shit. He gonna fucking refer me to principal, this and that. And I wasn't fucking talking. So eventually I got up, I walk over his desk, and that motherfucker Stench followed me, blood. And I don't know if Stench already had this shit planned out. He was gonna do this. It was the heat of the moment kind of fucking thing. I have no idea. But that teacher should have told that motherfucker to sit down, and he didn't. The motherfucker was too worked up, fucking all red-faced, all shaky, trying to fucking argue with me and shit like that. And he wasn't paying Stench no fucking mind, blood. And Stench had some plans for him, man. That teacher got himself a fucking piping hot cup of coffee. You can see the steam coming off that motherfucker and shit. And like I said, I don't know if Stench already had this planned out or what. But that teacher yelling with me, blood, he arguing with me and shit. And he fucking ain't paying no attention to Stench, blood. And I can see every fucking thing. And I'm as big as nobody else did because that class is full of other motherfucking students, blood, but nobody's seeing anything. And I remember I'm looking at that fucking teacher, I'm looking over at Stench and shit like that. And I can see it out of the corner of my eye, blood. I can see Stench pull out one of them little pinky ass little fucking sandwich bag sacks he got, one little tiny ass dime sack. And it didn't register at first what the fuck he doing. I thought he just showing me it to be funny because the teacher can't see what he doing or something like that. Nah, blood, that ain't what the fuck he doing. That ain't what he doing at all. It's like, quick as a fucking flash, this fool, his fucking fingers slide that bag open. And he dumped them fucking contents right in that teacher's coffee, blood. I couldn't fucking believe it. This shit threw me the fuck off, blood. And as soon as that motherfucker did that shit, as soon as he moved his arm, that teacher just turned his head quick and just looked right at Stench. And he like, sit the fuck down. Well, he didn't say sit the fuck down, but he like, sit down. And for a second when he did that, I thought he saw what Stench did, blood. My fucking heart dropped. And needless to say, this shit just fucking threw me off, and I wasn't trying to argue with this motherfucker no more. I just went and sat back down too. And Stench is just fucking giggling, blood. You can feel the fucking desk shaking. This fool got so much adrenaline. He just laughing, he fucking giggling. He can't stop talking about it. He keeps poking me and shit. And then that fool start drinking that fucking coffee, blood. And Stench just laughing, man, giggling. But that teacher ain't picking up on it yet, blood, but I'm fucking tripping now, dog. But a little bit of time passes by, blood, and nothing fucking happening. And I actually fucking forgot about the whole thing. I'm thinking that ain't nothing gonna happen, blood. He ain't gonna drink it or just ain't gonna do nothing. But it was like a whole 10 second of that shit. And fucking Stench's cousin shit was pretty motherfucking strong, blood. And if you didn't have no tolerance for that shit would hit you pretty fucking hard. And like I said, I'm fucking zoned out, blood. I'm fucking thinking about other things now. I completely forgot about Stench even really doing that shit. And then you start noticing shit, blood. You start fucking noticing doing things. Suddenly that teacher, he can't sit still no more, blood. He gotta keep getting up out of his seat, keep pacing back and forth. He sit back down, and then you can hear this motherfucker breathing, blood. Like breathing real deep. Stench obviously picking up what's going on because his giggling's picking back up again too. He fucking laughing damn near uncontrollably. I gotta keep reminding this motherfucker to shut the fuck up, blood. Because I know something's happening now. And I remember a few more minutes passed, and then you can see them signs is picking up, blood. And it was like bizarre to me. It was like he was turning into a fucking horse or something, blood. He keep doing that shit that horses do. They go. He keep doing that shit, and it looked like he eating imaginary fucking carrots because his mouth is just going over and over again, blood. Then I remember it's still like 2 or 3 minutes before the bell's gonna fucking ring. It's supposed to be like lunch. I think it was lunch or recess. I think it was lunch. And this motherfucker like, you guys can go now, you can go now. He trying to rush everybody out the class and shit. And we all get out. I'm like, what's up with that shit? Stench just fucking laughing. Stench like, he got them dope shits, blood. He gonna go shit his fucking guts out, that prope dope, blood. I'm like, damn. And we go have our lunch and shit. And we come back to that same class. Like I said, we have to stay in the same class all fucking day. But that teacher don't come back, blood. The fucking principal finishes out the day for him. And I start tripping about this shit a little bit, blood, because that's some serious shit he just fucking did. But Stench just think it's the funniest motherfucking thing in the whole goddamn world. It's all he can talk about. He can't stop laughing about this shit. So it's the next day and shit, and we end up going to school again that day. And Stench really excited to get there, blood, and I fucking know why. He hoping that teacher gonna be there again, because we know we gonna have a sub again. But we get in there, blood, it's this mean-ass old lady. She used to teach there a long time ago. She mean as fuck, blood. And she just laying that shit down, blood. She keeping that class in check. And our excitement's gone. And we just thinking that's the end of it, blood. But we actually lucked out. Surprised. That could have went all fucking bad. But anyway, we thinking we just lucked out. That's the end of it, blood. But the next day, he's back. I remember Stench having this big ass fight with his girl and shit. He all pissed off. He fucking hating life, angry at the world. But once we go in that class, blood, he see that fucking teacher bag. Everything changes. Suddenly Stench like a man on a fucking mission, blood. And his mission, he gonna do it again, blood. He gonna get that teacher high again, blood. Man, it's like he determined he gonna fucking get him, man. He was like one of them prisoners, blood. Like somebody locked up in prison, they determined they gonna murder another fucking inmate, and they just spent all day and night obsessing about it. That's like Stench, blood. And then I remember on break, this motherfucker like fucking barking orders at me and shit, telling me I need to get that teacher in the back corner for a minute during the next fucking period, this and that. I told him I ain't gonna do it, blood. I ain't want nothing to do with the fuck he doing. And this motherfucker, he just reminded me all this shit he done for me, this and that, all the time he saved my life and blah, blah, blah. And fucking, he put me on the spot, blood, and I fucking had to do it. So I fucking distract that teacher from me, I get him coming back to the class, I say there's something happening fucking to the electrical outlet and shit. And Stench worked fast, but he goes straight up to that motherfucker's desk. But that teacher seemed to catch on quick, because he knows what he was doing. That teacher in the back corner with me, and I think he knew I was doing shit, and they fucking hit his instincts off. He turned around and looked. He sees Stench over at his desk, and he's like, what are you doing over there? And Stench is like, I'm grabbing a pencil, and Stench starts walking back. And I thought that was it, blood. I thought Stench didn't do it, blood, because the dude caught him and shit. And we go back to our seats, Stench fucking giggling, but I didn't think he got him, blood. But then like, fucking 20 minutes or so passed, blood. All of a sudden that teacher, he starts turning into fucking Mr. Ed again, blood. He doing that shit with his face again, with his mouth. And I know it's all bad. I don't know if you ever seen when they put like peanut butter on a horse's mouth. That's kind of what that motherfucker looked like, blood. He just was like, I don't know. He was really amped, blood. Stench really plugged that motherfucker. And I remember fucking me and Stench, we went to lunch, blood. And when we came back to that class, that motherfucker in there, he was like standing by the door waiting to greet everybody and shit. And it's, I guess he didn't fucking know, blood. He must have known fucking something, blood. He must have like, I don't know, blood, but this motherfucker, you can tell he been in there organizing shit around that classroom and stuff, and he was real fucking amped, blood. He real up and at him, blood. This motherfucker, he bounced off the walls and shit. He friendly as fuck, blood. He over there trying to help everybody with every fucking problem they got. Stench is giggling away, man. Stench is all fucking calling him super teacher and shit like that. Thinks it's just fucking funny as hell. This motherfucker sweating hella bad too, blood. His whole shirt just like fucking drenched. And I think at some point he's starting to realize something ain't right, blood. You can see if we keep checking his fucking pulse, but he keep putting his hand on his chest, he keep checking his... Yeah, I remember at some point this motherfucker goes and sits at that desk, blood. He just sit there, put his hand on his fucking forehead, just breathing in hella deep and shit. He just keeps like picking up the phone like he gonna use it and setting it back down. Yeah, I remember eventually this fool does fucking pick that phone up, blood. He fucking calls the fucking nurse, blood. He has a nurse come in our fucking class, blood. And fucking, she starts checking his vitals right then and there. I look over at Stench, I'm like, you stupid motherfucker, you gonna give this guy a heart attack. And he just look at me, blood, with that stupid fucking grin, just started laughing. And I just remember that nurse, and she asked him all kinds of questions, how he feeling. I remember that fucker like, I feel really good. I remember him saying that shit, blood. And I almost started laughing right then and there too, blood. But that fucking nurse, blood, she must have checked this fool out or something, blood, like, gave him a clean bill of health or some shit, and maybe his shit just wasn't that bad at that point. He just knew something was wrong. But I was like really fucking tripping though. I thought for real this motherfucker was gonna end up having a heart attack or some shit. But he was a trooper, blood. That fucking teacher, he finished up the day, blood. He went through the whole fucking day. And it's kind of fucking bizarre to me, blood. Like, what did this motherfucker do? Did he just go home and it was like it was all good or something like that? Cause he must have not gone to the hospital. Yeah, I could pretty much guarantee this motherfucker ain't sleeping neither, blood, cause that shit was pretty fucking strong. Like I said, ain't like crystal motherfuckers do these days, but that was some pretty motherfucking strong critic that fool had. I remember that next fucking day, I'm coming up to school and shit. Stench meet me out by the fucking front. He all excited and shit, and I already know why, blood. I already fucking know why. And he like, he back, blood, he fucking back. Tweaker teacher, he fucking back, blood, he back for more. He looking tired today too, blood. And I'm like, Stench, blood, you can't fucking do that again. You gonna kill that motherfucker. And that fool, he just think it's fucking funny as hell. He just laughing his ass off about it again and shit. But the joke was on him that day, cause I think that teacher was catching on or something, cause he wasn't leaving his coffee out at all. And you could see Stench was fucking mad, blood. It was like some major disappointment. It was like he went out to fucking prom night and this girl wouldn't give him some or something like that, but he was really fucking let down. I remember at lunchtime out of desperation, that fool, he trying to fucking pick the fucking window, trying to get back in the classroom and shit. But it wasn't happening, but there ain't no fucking way you breaking them classes. And the whole way home, he just bitching about this shit, blood, how fucking angry he is. He couldn't give that teacher the fucking, what he needed and this and that. And blood, I'm telling you, it was becoming like an obsession with this motherfucker. This motherfucker called me up like 3 in the morning and shit, asking me questions about what car that teacher driving and shit. And I know what it's all related to, blood. He trying to figure out another way he can get that motherfucking teacher dope, blood. He like twisted, blood. That motherfucker asked me about if I know where he can get a tranquilizer gun. He fucking asked me about blowguns and shit like that. Like he thinking he gonna fucking be able to shoot dope in this fool. And he fucking for real, blood. But like I said earlier, that motherfucker become obsessed with shit. He like a prisoner in a cell, just thinking about all fucking day. And sooner or later, you gonna figure out a way. And he fucking did. I remember that fucking day, blood. I don't know, I must have been really faded or something like that, because I remember like Stench is in class with me, and then he wasn't. And like I said, I was just faded or something, but I wasn't thinking nothing else. I was trying to get some lunch and shit. And when the bell rang, I just left and went and got lunch, blood. I had no idea what that motherfucker did. And it's kind of brilliant. Blood, somehow in the middle of that fucking class, Stench went down where they had them beanbags in the back corner and fucking hid himself within them beanbags, and nobody knew he was fucking there. I still can't believe he did that shit, blood. I still can't believe it fucking worked. But it fucking did. And once that bell rang, we all left. That teacher left for a minute, and Stench had complete access to his thermos and his lunch. And I think maybe like Stench want to make up for not getting the day before or something like that, blood. Because I think he put a lot in this motherfucker's food, blood. Because that food was all bad later on. You know, I remember all that shit happening because, like, fucking dude starts turning Mr. Ed again. Fucking Mr. Ed 3.0 this time because he really amped. He acting a lot more horsey, dude. He doing a lot of shit. Stench back to fucking laughing again and shit like that. But he got a lot under control this time. Yeah, I remember that minute that teacher fucking figured it out, blood. I mean, I assumed that Stench was just putting that shit in that motherfucker's coffee, blood. But I guess he was putting it in his fucking food too, because that motherfucker took a bite out of his sandwich, blood, and he spit it out immediately. And he did that shit right in the entire fucking class too, blood. And then he immediately started like putting his finger on his tongue and start running his fucking fingers together like he can feel something, blood. Then he started examining his fucking sandwich. Stench can't control himself anymore at this point, blood. He just a laughing machine. He fucking giggling motherfucker, blood. He just laughing his ass off. And that teacher looked dead at fucking Stench. And I think that minute he looked at Stench and they locked eyes, I think homeboy figured everything out right then and there. I remember a dude sat back down his fucking desk and he just had like this look of like fucking shock on his face and shit. And it's like he kept doing that same shit again, kept like reaching for the phone. Fucking dude sitting at his desk and shit, he's doing back to checking his pulse and shit, keeps putting his hand on his fucking chest. And Stench trying not to laugh anymore, cause dude catching on obviously and shit. Stench squeezing my fucking arm and shit. And then shit just goes from fucking bad to worse, blood. Cause that motherfucker eventually picks up the phone, he calls that nurse's office again. She comes in that class real quick, looking real fucking worried. And she starts checking his pulse and shit like that. She's looking over at all the class and shit, all looking at us and shit like that. And you can see on that nurse's face, but she got like a real look of fucking concern, like I was saying, blood. And she looking over at all of us and shit. And then she called 911, blood, and they bring in the fucking paramedics. I couldn't fucking believe this shit. I was fucking tripping, blood. I thought for sure we gonna go to fucking jail now. I thought Stench really got us this time on this one. I remember the rest of that fucking day, blood. I was sweating bullets just thinking that they gonna have 5-0 show up any fucking minute and they gonna take me and Stench away, blood. I was counting them fucking minutes. Then it got to 3 o'clock, blood. Fucking bell rang, it was time to go. I couldn't believe it, I was so fucking happy. And we walking back to our spot, blood, and I was just fucking yelling at that motherfucker. He's such a fucking dummy, blood. He just don't fucking get it. He still think it's fucking funny as hell, but I'm trying to explain to him that we probably gonna go to jail for this shit. That whole fucking night, I'm thinking for sure, any minute them cops gonna show up at my door, blood, they gonna come arrest me and me and Stench gonna be in jail together. But they never did, blood. They never fucking did. But we would see the cops the next day. Cause the next day we go to school again, and fucking they got the campus cop there, and they got some other cop, and they got the principal, and they all in our classroom wanting to talk to us. And we can figure out pretty quick, they must not know much, blood. And like I said, this was a really bad fucking class. Like them 2 foster kids in that class was unfucking believable, blood. So one of them cops, he stays in the classroom with us, and fucking campus cop and principal's taking each student outside, they talking to them individually and shit. And fucking Stench is making it real clear what we gonna do. Because even though there's that cop in the fucking class with us, he can't hear what we talking about. And Stench just mumbling to me. He telling me what we gonna fucking say. Stench telling me that when I go outside, I gotta talk to him. You fucking tell that principal, tell that cop that teacher a fucking dolphin, blood. He was asking me all kinds of questions about drugs and shit. And it's the stupidest fucking idea I ever heard in my goddamn life, but that's where he gonna go with, blood. That's my dog, blood. I gotta go with it too. So they bring me out first. And that asshole principal, that dumb fuck cop, they start asking me and say, you know anything about what happened here yesterday, this and that? So I'm like, nah, you talk about that fucking teacher that was here? And then motherfuckers is like, maybe. And I was like, yeah, blood, I think that teacher has some kind of substance abuse issues or something like that. Cause he reminded me a lot of my dad when I used to live with my dad and shit. I'm just thinking myself how fucking stupid this story sounds and how it ain't gonna fucking work. But eventually they get to Stench, blood. Stench already got them a real good fucking story to tell. It's such a goddamn stupid ass fucking story too. I mean, I can't believe anybody would even buy this shit. But Stench started telling him how he seen that fool smoking drugs in his car before school and shit. And that was the end of it, blood. Cops never came back, never questioned us again, nothing, blood. And I have no idea what the fuck happened to that teacher. But it's just one of them things. But that's just the thing with fucking Stench, man. He a true friend for life, and I love that motherfucker, blood, but some of them pranks he does play, they go out of fucking hand sometimes. That's just another time. I don't know how the fuck we didn't go to jail. Anyway, thank you for listening. If you like my content, be sure to like and subscribe. And be sure to hit me up on that PayPal, that Cash App. But if you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe and fucking support me. I'm really going through a lot, blood, so I need all the help I can get.
what they were doing. The truth is, I like it. I'm a tweaker teacher.